That is awesome. If you could smell through the camera, you would.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. The action station right here.
It smells so good.
So tell us what's going on here.
So what we've got here is 150 kilos of Tassie barley, and then we've loaded up our tray with Tasmanian peat as well from the Highlands, about 4 hours north of here, in Browns Marsh. So yeah, we go up maybe 3-4 times a year. We load up the ute with a few kilos of peat, a few shovelfuls of peat, and then that keeps the smoke rolling through about 50% of the barley that we produce on site. So as you can tell, it's not really been upgraded since Bill built the place. So we are looking at a larger one of these.
Yeah, John mentioned that you were getting a larger one coming in, or it's already arrived, or it's on its way?
It's been fabricated specially for us.
Right.
So
where do you get something like that made?
Here in Tassie.
Yep.
So we've got the guys up at Stillsmiths,
yep.
Up in Westbury. They basically have had a look at the process and we're actually going to come up with a bespoke solution, because it's post-malting peat smoking. So we've got to wet the barley to then pass the smoke through it and then dry it out. So it's a unique process to us down here.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, totally different to the way we do it back in Scotland.
Very cool. Yeah. So we go for a walk inside?
Let's go for a walk inside.
Awesome.
Full pelt as always at Lark today.
As always.
So on the floor today you've got Brianna and Tom. Taking spirit. How are we?
Hey.
Mark's here. Alright, 450 kilos of barley in the old milk vat. And then obviously bringing in the hot water, start to convert the starch into sugar, and then drain that water off to ferment in our stainless steel fermenters.
Yep. And you guys still doing a 7-day ferment?
7-day ferment, yep, absolutely.
Yep.
And then we make a call based on the aroma and flavour, and also the acidity, and whether we want to take the lids off and let bacteria in for a second fermentation. Yeah. It's a very long, complex fermentation we get at Lark, which adds to the complexity of the New Make Spirit.
And we have the main stills over here.
Yeah. Famous Lark pot stills. So one of two pairs on site here at our Coe Valley distillery. The pot of this one was the first commercial still built in Tasmania.
Yep.
The cone and the line arm and the condenser were replaced last year. So they are starting to come to the end of their useful life, and we'll look to get them upgraded and changed over.
Yep.
So launch stills, 1800 litre capacity, about a 1400 litre charge. And then the spirit's still 900 litre capacity, 600 litre charge.
It's just crazy to think how much gets done out of what is essentially quite a small spirit still.
Yeah, so these stills do 50% of the production here. These will churn out about 80,000 litres of single malt spirit for us this year, which is the largest year that Lark's ever had. We're still making our craft and taste, still really important to us. Yep. So we can craft the spirit the way we want to. Weekly we have New Make Spirit tasting where the entire team sits down, yep, and we go through the New Makes for the week. And that gives us a feedback loop and allows us to make decisions on how we ferment next week. What does the weather look like? You know, what changes do we want to make to try and influence the spirit, and therefore obviously the whiskey 6-7 years down the line when it's mature.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And what do we have over here, this side?
Just more fermenters.
More fermenters?
Same job as the other side.
Yep.
One thing we are toying with right now is a bit of a trial. We will try some of the Oregon pine washbacks.
Wow.
Just to see what they look like in the space, and then also be able to
Are they all sitting outside ready to come in?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got one over at the column still that we use to run the call. Over about 5,500 feet.
Can we get a bit closer to that column still? Which is running at the moment, in case you're wondering what all that noise is.
Yeah, sorry, Tom, when you go. So Alex is running it for us today. So very, very loud. 5,500 litres of wash in here.
Yep.
The wash for the column still right now we brew up at Bothwell at our Bothwell distillery. Basically, the wash from here goes up over the through a preheater and drops into the analyzer. Wash coming in at the top, helps with alcohol. Raw steam at the bottom. Strips the alcohol out. After 12 plates you end up with about 40% ABV. Comes out the top of the analyzer into the bottom of the rectifier, up 19 more plates, and we can run it up consistently at 96% alcohol by volume. So as long as we're feeding this thing beer, Alex can really spin it with whatever ABV we want to make either sanitizer, gin base or whiskey. It's an incredible piece of kit. This thing, cranking will do 1,000 beers a day.
And is there plans to use this thing for your own in-house blending?
We're looking at it. There's no concrete plans. We're still in essentially trial and error phase.
Yep.
We don't want to be making whiskey at 95%
No.
and watering it down. So one of the jobs that Alex has is looking at each plate and looking at each flavour profile and working out where the sweet spot is.
It's quite a noisy beast, isn't it? Just standing here, you sort of get used to it, but for sure.
The spirit of it, no decision has been made yet.
No. Very cool.
So the old still is still here.
Okay.
So the trademark and brand has obviously gone back to the family, but the stills actually still crank out spirit, but for us we're making Lark style spirit from them now. So it's essentially Cove Valley style spirit that we're
Right.
going for.
And you're still making 40 spotted through here?
This is 40 spotted gin. This still is another real hard worker.
Yep. It's also one of the prettiest stills I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So the guys that make, the guys that are looking at our peat smoker are also the guys that manufactured this still.
Right.
Stillsmiths. They build it with as much flexibility as possible as well. So what you have on the inside of here is a gin basket at the back. There's a ring around that you can hang bags from. You can obviously macerate botanicals in here as well. Then you've got the basket and the carter head. And we can hang stuff over the end too, so we can actually infuse when things are running out. Sylvia's running this for us today, one of our gin distillers.
Hey!
And right now, you know, the 40 spotted brand is going crazy. We've got our classic gin, which, you know, originally based off Bill and Lynn's first recipe.
And also you're repackaging as well.
Yeah, repackaged, as you see up here in the upside down bottle.
Yep.
So you've got our classic gin.
Yep.
It sits upside down because we're from the bottom of the world. Which, you know, only people in the Northern Hemisphere are going to get that joke, I think. But,
I think it's going to be a Northern Hemisphere joke, but we're going to see some, it's going to be members even living in the UK watching, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So classic gin, we've got our citrus and pepperberry, which is the hot seller. We just released the raspberry and rose, so that's a half strength, a mid-strength gin. Well,
mid-strength,
it's
right.
not a gin, but it's a mid-strength botanical spirit.
Yep.
Infused with raspberries to give it that beautiful pink colour.
But still using juniper as a base?
Still juniper as a base.
Yep.
For us, doesn't matter what spirit it is. If these don't stand up in a gin and tonic, then there's no point in releasing them. So even with the raspberry and rose, you still get that gin, that juniper hit, as well as the balance with the sweetness in from the raspberry and the rose. And then this is Tassie exclusive just now, but we'll be expanding hopefully. That's a Tassie Bush Honey gin. So infuse that with local bush honey.
Wow, okay.
Absolutely stunning.
And they work both upside down and other way around?
They work both ways. You see the branding actually changes.
Oh yeah.
Even the word gin is reversed.
And this is where 40 spotted will be in future? This is what it is now?
Yep.
Moving away from those style bottles that we're...
Moving away from this.
Yep.
Into the new. So we're still tweaking with this. The beauty of this packaging, you know, for us, sustainability is massive, so it uses less glass than the old one.
Yep.
We'll probably work on another iteration or two of the cap. try and make that more sustainable.
Yeah, awesome. And over here, like you said, we've got these stills over here.
So these were Casey's original stills.
Bit of a production line going on over here.
And then this is one of our 2 bottling lines.
Yep.
Which is running today as well.
Very cool. And so you said you're running a Lark Spirit.
We're doing Lark style spirit. So one of the challenges that Chris Ollie and the team have had in distilling is essentially taking slightly different shapes and sizes of stills and then using that sensory feedback loop that we have to match the Coal Valley style of spirit. Because if it's from the site, you want it to have that smoke that you expect from Lark, and you also want it to have that more sort of meaty base that you expect. And whereas these stills obviously traditionally made a much lighter and more delicate spirit.
Very, very cool. Yeah. And like you said, this is one of your 2 bottling lines here?
One of 2 bottling lines, so everything that our customers buy online gets shipped from here. So that's a very, very busy site. As you can imagine, the last couple of weeks have been hectic.
Very much so.
Everything is, apart from the standard bottles of gin, is generally bottled down here in Tassie.
Right.
And even with the standard gins, we've been picking up that slack here as well, because we want that, again, that Tasmanian touch and feel where possible.
If we head outside, we can see all those these washbacks that you Very cool.
Yeah, so we got.
They look very fresh.
5 of these. Yeah, they're just they're holding water just now. They've been in storage for a while, and they were done. Oregon Barrel Works and Cask Company brought them into the state for us. So again, another really good Tasmanian supplier.
I think for some it might seem like it's the operation is certainly expanding, and it's almost like you're almost outgrowing the space.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. You know, the first distillery I cut my teeth at was Glenkinchie, and you know their washbacks at the time were 30, I think it was 32,000 litres in each, 40,000 capacity. So even us upgrading to 5.5 seems like a big step here, but it's still tiny. But in terms of what's coming out of this site, the quality is increasing, the quantity is also on the rise, and that's all we can ever ask, really.
Those who've been to Davey Street, their cellar door, that's always worth dropping in on.
Yeah.
And the you've got bonded warehousing up the end here.
Yeah, and again, most of our bonded warehousing is off-site simply because the volume that we would need is huge. So we do a lot of bonding throughout the state. The majority of our stuff is sitting up at Oaklands just now.
Right.
We have bond stores up at Bothwell, and obviously these ones here. But if we continue to crank it out, we're going to need more space.
Bonded store 2 and 3 here.
So this is Bond Store 2. This is where I would say where the most fun spirit is. It's where most of our
experimentation and
older and aging stock is.
And then the washbacks as well.
Well, those are just sitting there just now. We'll put them in for fermentation as part of that trial. But right now they're just sitting out of the rain, out of the weather. But this is where our oldest Lark stocks are sitting. So the oldest spirit in here, we've got a couple of 12-year-old casks from the site, and then we also have older stock from other distilleries too. So things that we've acquired through the years with
third-party stock.
Yeah, third-party stock with partnership and and working together with the industry.
Incredible. This is the fun stuff in here. Very cool. Well, thank you, Craig, so much for catching up.
No, my pleasure.
Really appreciate it. And we'll have a chance to sit down soon and have a dram.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good. Perfect. Thanks, Matt.